Imagine if you were in the ambulance. Imagine if your friend or a family member is in the ambulance. In every such high traffic spots, an ambulance spends an average of around 5 to up to 30 minutes. And this happens almost in every metro cities, Tier 1, Tier 2 cities or towns in India as well as in other developed and developing countries. And what's the main reason behind this? The commuters actually get to know of an incoming ambulance very late. In order to prevent that, we have introduced this APM device that can siren and alarm the commuters 3 km prior to an ambulance incoming, thereby ensuring a vacant lane entirely left for an ambulance. So this 5 to 30 minutes can reduce directly to 30 seconds or max up to 1 minute. This is a demo unit of the same. It's an IoT based device. We call it as an APM signage or an APM tower. So APM tower has got an ambulance siren as well as an ambulance lighting, apart from which it has got an LED display that shows the distance from that spot to the incoming ambulance. It also has a banner that displays a regulation that is in existence for leaving the rightmost lane to an ambulance, which hardly people know. So this banner is used for educating the commuters about to leave the rightmost lane. And also to add to this solution, we have an app that can connect victims to ambulances, hospitals, as well as other users in case of any emergency. App, there are basically 3 different type of logins. One for ambulance drivers and the ENT specialists, other for hospitals, another for a public user. Let's see, in ambulance when they sign up, they give all the vehicle details, their phone number, organization number, and the kind of ownership and the category of vehicle. They upload all their information by clicking on and through the cam, and after signing up they get to see their home page, something like this, wherein every ambulance guy gets to authenticate the victims by clicking on the camera pic and number of victims, and also if there is any ID card, Aadhaar card or any such details. Once if they upload, these images are taken and given to the hospital which is nearest and relevant hospital, or the hospital which the patient selects. So after entering the nature of emergency, they select the hospital or they give auto select and the system selects the nearest and relevant hospital. After that, the track is given for the driver, wherein throughout this track all the APM towers starts alarming and making a path, a lane entirely free for a ambulance to go. Now once the patient is dispatched at the hospital, the ambulance guy gets a report, after which we will check how a hospital login is. So once they give all the details of the hospital, now this is how a hospital login would look like, wherein they can either pick up a victim from the patient's place or from another hospital, as the same case where they drop, either they drop to another hospital or at the patient's spot, wherein they can enter the hospital details by either searching or through the drop down. They can select whether they want to use their own ambulance. A similar procedure happens here. In hospital, there is also option for the hospital to upload details like this. so that we get a updated track of which hospital has got which features right now. Through users, we have got a little more in detail, wherein the users' details like blood group, birthday, phone number, addresses, what nature of job, what whether they are a student, what kind of mode of transport they use, and they are supposed to add. Every user is supposed to add minimum of 4 to 5 IC numbers, or they could update with all of their contacts. A few more details like the vehicle number, model number, school or organization's name, and life insurances which can be used for coordinating with the hospital for bill payment. After they register, a declaration is given. This is how they would be able to see, like how in an ambulance, in order to authenticate and number of victims and if there is any icon, what's the nature of emergency. Once they report, they go through the same process like how we saw earlier. Now once in user segment, we can either call for an emergency or even report a violation. And after this, there's a major feature which we are more proud of is the tracker, wherein from any part of the world a user can track any city. Once we have it in one city, they can actually select the region and see live number of cases going through that city or town, and also get to know whether if there is any connected cases to them, and if there is any connection, through what level, if it is the second connection, third connection, or in this case we have entered as the ninth connection. So the person's name, the category of emergency, and the hospital to which the person is taken is all given here. If the user wishes, they can connect and they get to see how many friends are. Once they connect that number in between them and the victim, those 8 friends are notified. Among them, there are 2 friends in this usage case we have just mentioned, like the 2 friends who are within the city, and all 6 are outside the country or outside the city. And there's 1 friend who is about 15 kilometers from the location. And even the hospital's phone number and all details are given so that the user can directly call and find out the condition of the victim. And next is the estimated arrival time that can be seen until the patient is registered to the hospital. And once so the current status is always updated here, even after the person is until the person is getting discharged from the hospital. So in this case, once these notifications are given, either the user gets an option for just wishing well and getting back to their work, or they could follow further by using these features, like as in we get to know how many friends are notified, how many friends are around, how many are reaching out in this, and also the details like the first person nearby can be informed, can be called through directly. Here again, once we follow. So there are a few more updations which are supposed to go for a user. Basically, like we are having one more tab which we are adding on for volunteering, and for statistics